Hello everybody, my name is Raspberry Barrel, and today I'm going to be reading you the extras in the Magic Book of Spells for Star vs. the Forces of Evil. Please forgive me if I mispronounce anything or if I pause for a little bit. Okay, it says, because the book is here now, we must have found a piece of the book and used one of Glossaryck's silkworms to rebuild it. Now we have all the knowledge of the past queens recorded in the book. It then says that the first message I read in the book will either be really welcoming or really mean. It depends on who we are. Once we pick up the book, it can decide, and Glossaryck will either be super nice to us in the book or not. And if the princess is bad, Glossaryck just waits for her to hand the book to her daughter or for her to die. The next part is a section where he tests you and has you look at some dots. If you can focus on each dot well individually, and then also focus on both of the dots at the same time, you are either a goat or a rabbit, which means the book will work for you. If you can't focus on these dots, you have to try again. This is the book calibrating itself for your personality. Next, we learn a little bit about Glossaryck. Glossaryck says that he has existed forever, but was born sometime after that, and he remembers every minute of his traumatic birth. At some point after he existed, he was called by one queen to assist with humanity's need to understand the realm of magic. He says that he realized from the future that in order for people to be reading, he'd have to create books in the past. So the first spell book was made to assist the first queen, and later the spell book we are reading now. Glossaryck decided he liked the book so much that he took out a mortgage and moved in with the silkworms that weaved the pages. The silkworms also expand the book when it runs out of room, can bring the spell book back if it gets burned or destroyed as long as you have a piece of the book, and they also make Glossaryck's clothes. Glossaryck then goes on to reveal to us that the reason his beard is white is because it's coated in silkworm slime. He says to not get any of the slime in your mouth, though, or you're going to turn into a skeleton. Glossaryck then says that before he knew it, he had fallen in love with himself, and he and himself had some kids. Hecapoo, Omnitraxus, Lekmet, Romulus, and a child we haven't yet met in the show, Ronaldo the Bald Plate. He looks kind of like an Athenian giraffe that's standing like a person. Glossaryck put them in charge of managing the contact points between the queen and the realm of magic. Hecapoo for interdimensional transit. It says in Marco and Star's Guide to Mastering Every Dimension that he created her with the unique ability to forge the magical scissors. Omnitraxus Prime was put in charge of space-time. Lekmet for entropy, and in Marco and Star's Guide it also says that he has some sort of ability that for some reason can't be mentioned. And my theory was that, this ability was his power to basically give part of his soul to another person and bring them back to life. And I don't know why they couldn't tell us this in the guide, but I'm hoping to find out more even though Lekmet is dead. And then Ronaldo was made for enforcing order lines, and Romulus for warfare. Glossaryck then says that he made the mistake of giving all of them free will, and that he pays for that decision every single day. Glossaryck then tells us that we, he, and the kids will one day be working together as the Magical High Commission, helping to keep a watchful eye on the magic in the multiverse. Then he says that if we aren't a princess, or we're some sort of birdman that stole the book, we will not be on the commission. But kudos for stealing the book. Glossaryck then informs us that we will encounter symbols in this book that will frighten us. Some of them might be from one queen to another, attempting to learn another language, or some might be some food that just got squashed. Glossaryck then talks about heat transfer, food getting stuck to him when he sleeps, reaching thermal equilibrium. Then we're shown an equation for it. It says that this equation was also made by Justin the Uncalculated. He says that it's good luck to figure out what the symbol means. Glossaryck says he only speaks one language, and that is this one, which I'm pretty sure he's referring to English and the symbols in the book. He says that if people want to be in the book, they better learn the language of the book, or they can just go home. He says people don't listen, and so they write their own language in the book, and that's fine. We can figure it out if we want. He doesn't know. He then tells us to skip to Comet's chapter. The next chapter of the book is all about how to use the book. Glossaryck first tells us that we're going to need a wand, of course, and then he tells us that it's been the job of the grandmas to do their best to transcribe all the spells that they've cast with their wand. He says that some of these spells are great and some are not great, and some of the spells in the book aren't even spells. Like, using your wand like a hammer isn't really magic. He then admits that gravy is magic, of course. He says you should start with spells that are well documented and easy. He recommends the often overlooked Levitato that is in Grandma Crescenta's chapter. He then tells us he knows that we will probably go straight to Skywind's Unicorn Stampede. We can if we want, but it would be a mess. And then he tells us to be careful not to point the Unicorn Stampede at buildings. And once we fail, just to come back to him. Then he says we should go make our own entries, and that the book is could be like a failed relationship. The book is only as bad as what you put in it. He says to go right ahead, our chapter awaits us. We can make good detailed spells or cryptic, dangerous, non-detailed ones. And that's everything from the very beginning of the book. The next time we get any information that isn't in a Queen's chapter is right after Crescenta's chapter. It's in the very middle of the book at the Glossaryck. Glossaryck's hands point and tell us which way to go. He's got some things written like, go that way. Estrella is Mewni's own cartoonist, and other things saying, Hail Rena, Queen of Mystery and Fringe. The next page is his guide to dipping down. He mentions how he thinks out loud, and that his sister, Table Okanta, is always telling him not to, and that he doesn't actually have a sister. He says that we must start at Mewberty. He then goes on to tell us that Mewberty is your first dip into magic. He says that Mewberty equips you with things you'll need later in life as a magic user. Unlocking them and controlling them is the trick. This form, when invoked later in life, is called your ultimate magic form, or your butterfly. He says that you can pop into this form whenever your emotions are heightened, when in love, angry, hungry, exhausted, etc. Now he goes on to explain each part. First are the Mewberty wings. They first appear at Mewberty and will continue to grow throughout your life, and only show up when needed. He says that if you reach the point when you can control them, then you are amazing. Once an adult, your wings will be strong enough to carry you from danger when in butterfly form. He then goes on to tell us that we must keep them clean, but not to machine wash them. Next are the Amatita eyes. We won't be able to see, but these eyes make us look goofy. They are faceted eyes, allowing us to see more than one dimension at a time. You won't be able to tell what's happening unless you're really good at using them. Glossaryck then tells us that one of the ancient queens, Supina the Strange of the old book, got stuck viewing the overlapping dimensions, and she never returned to her own. She went mad. I hope we can learn more about her. We should be careful to not get lost in our new powers to see all dimensions at once, says Glossaryck. Or we could disappear forever. Glossaryck then tells us, fun fact, if we're having trouble reading the low Mewman, poof into our butterfly form and we can read it. The eyes can read any language, but we won't be able to retain anything we've read. The next part is density changes. Depending on your emotions, your density could decrease to as light or lighter than air. You will float up, but your wings should pop up and save you. If they don't, then you float until you wake up, and then you crash. Glossaryck then says that Durhenia never really went through Mewberty, but would sometimes wake up and find herself floating in the air and then fall. She went through a lot of beds. Next are the hexapoda arms. Glossaryck tells us the extra arms only appear when you need them, and he says he's only heard of like 5 or 18 times when a queen couldn't get the arms to go away immediately. Once you can do magic without a wand, you can use all 6 arms to do your spells. Okay, next, and this one's a tricky one to pronounce. The Glossaryck voice. The voice will change throughout your life. At first, it's a raspy growl, but later it advances and separates, something almost like several voices speaking at once. Just like the multi-dimensional eyes, you have a multi-dimensional voice, causing a layered, slight offset sound. You want to keep talking until the offset voices become one. Hopefully the voice you end up with is your own. The other effects of the Mewberty form are every queen will have her own unique signifier in her ultimate magic form. Crescenta would grow 1 eyebrow every time she dipped down. It looked like a caterpillar trying to mate with her face. Then it turned into an actual caterpillar named Theven and ran off into the forest of certain death. Every princess wants to know the quickest way to dip down. There are several emotions that invoke dipping down. The envy tendency will make you not become full butterfly, only getting some of your form. Anger invoking. Like envy, you can be violent and unpredictable. Frustration. It offers a bit more control, but this makes it hard to come by. You must be careful. These transit quickly into anger. Betrayal. Probably the surest way to make a good dip happen. Test by having a loved one betray your trust. You're most likely to have a change of density and float off ground. Love. The most powerful dip is love or a combination of love and protection. Usually full-factured, whole magic form. But the magic blast can be weak or labored. Protection of another. One of the more grand dips. This, with a combination with love, is intense for you and dangerous for the adversaries. Magic blasts will be at most powerful, but volatility may make them difficult to control. If you can't dip down after Mewberty, don't worry. A lot of queens can't get there. Glossaryck says it might not even be healthy with all that magical radiation and stuff. Maybe you're better if you're not able to. The next page in the book is a page of what looks to be Glossaryck's accomplishments and things he wants to do. Once he's done them, he checks them off. Next, Glossaryck explains that it's good to have pets. He loves coming home and having things love him no matter what is happening in the multiverse. He's a father to 3 silkworms, a centipede, a beetle, and an earwag. Next, he gives us all the names of all of his little pets, I guess. They seem more like family to me. Silky is a baby cake silkworm. His nicknames are Silky Tea or Silky Silks. Stinky, he's the troublemaker silkworm. His nickname is Stinky Dinks. Sassafrasa. She is his tiny ball of sass, Sassafrasa Pants or Sassa. Only wants affection. Stormy is the centipede. Good boy, energetic, Sergeant Stormy. Simone, a gorgeous beetle, and the beetle knows it. Tiny Snooty Toots, Snooty Toot, don't be Rudy, nice girl. Sally Earwag. Shy Sally Pally, smart and helpful, and she fetches items. The next 2 pages are his room. He has video games, pizza, a book of how to draw Mewmins, drawings of Comet, Rena, and himself, and he's got a pot of soup, a stove, a microwave, and a bed that looks a lot like him, and trash all over the floor. The next bit is a bunch of Aroli signs and their guide. So these are all the months and things on Mewni. So I'm going to read you what the months are and what they would be on Earth and what their spirit animal thing is. Okay, so first we have pig goat. Star says I'm a pig goat. This is December 22nd through January 20th. For Mewni, that's Torax 1 through Norvath 66. If you're a pig goat, you're usually hyper, fun-loving, brave, stubborn, impulsive, and hates rules. Next is the silkworm. January 21st through February 18th. Norath 67 through Sagnog 2nd. The silkworm is usually intelligent, independent, innovative, impulsive, powerful, and secretive. Next is the tadpole, February 19th through March 19th. Sagnog 3 through Gravnock 44. Raphael is a tadpole. The tadpole is usually eccentric, free-spirited, a joker, likes games, and is clever. Next is the Warnicorn, March 20th through April 19th. Gravnock 45 through Sleeknax 1st. The Warnicorn is usually creative, eccentric, deep thinker, distant, and has a complicated love life. The next one is a demon, April 20th through May 21st. Sleepnax 2nd through Zamurnor 8th. Enjoyment-seeking, loyal, dynamic, mischievous, and too much pride. Next is Hydra, May 22nd through June 21st. Zamornor 9th through Quark 19th. Many talents, hardworking, achiever, two-faced, self-reliant, likes to please. Next is the Blowhole, June 22nd through July 22nd. Quark 20th through Thurk 81st. The Blowhole is artistic, down-to-earth, faithful, quiet, sensitive, and has good taste. Next is Lion Dragon, July 23rd through August 22nd. Thurk 82nd through Grievance 30. Strong, self-righteous, adventurous, hates to be restricted, dominating. Next is the Ponyhead, August 23rd through September 23rd. Grievance 31st through Dartuk 25th. Alluring, mysterious, admired, forgives but doesn't forget, lavish. Next is the Pixie, September 24th through October 22nd. Dartuk 26th through Squartuk 62. Life of the party, sets trends, loving, can't function alone, popular, vapid. Next is the Narwhal, October 23rd through November 22nd. Angie is a Narwhal. Squarturk 63 through Org 2nd. Open-minded, big-hearted, practical, many talents, can lead others. Then, Dead Horse, November 23rd through December 20th. Org 3rd through Skyweg 7th. Straightforward, faithful, leader, rule follower, wise, and cold. Marco is a dead horse. And the last one is the Bog Slug, which is just December 21st, or Mondern 1st. They're usually charming, relatable, kind, timid, indecisive, and unlucky. And those were the Aroli signs. The last part of the book is where Ludo tried to write, but couldn't write because the book didn't belong to him. The last bits are Glossaryck telling us to make our own page, poem, and a complex chapter with a wand and millhorse drawing. I hope that you've enjoyed listening and learning all about the spell book. I plan on doing all the Queen's chapters next. Please tell me if you liked this video and what is your birthday and Aroli sign. Do you think it fits your personality and anything about your life? Or which one do you think is more you? And thanks for watching. Bye!